Okay, so I think Rough Ryder has finally done it for me personally. I know a lot of people have had good and bad experiences with Rough Ryder. Normally, I have more towards the end of bad experiences with Rough Ryder. I have a couple good knives, but they just generally just don't really get carried because I have Great Eastern Cutlery and case knives and Boker knives that I would rather carry instead of carrying the Rough Riders. This knife may have changed that. I've carried this, I think, 2 nights now, and it's probably going to become a regular part of my pocket knife rotation. Although I can't really call it that because I don't even know how many knives I have at this point, and I kind of spend time every day, spend way too much time every day trying to figure out what pocket knife I want to carry. And I've just added another knife to that. The cool thing about these Rough Rider knives is this was under $20. I think it was around 16 or $17. And this is an elephant toenail or a sunfish, although I think technically the sunfish is more of like an equal end thing, whereas the elephant toenail is not an equal end. Like this end is smaller than this end. And on Smoky Mountain Knife Works website, they're calling this an toe knife or elephant toenail, so that's what I'll call it. But this is smooth white bone. This particular knife is put together really well. As you can see, it's got two back springs there, like most of these more affordable sleeve board knives, is just what I'll call them. Um, but you've got, your standard big old spear blade here, big fat spear blade. Um, not huge or anything. It's under 3 inches, but it's very fat. Um, Action on the knife's pretty good. It's not amazing or anything, and it doesn't rip your fingernails off, which means it's actually usable, unlike some of these sunfish knives, sunfish or elephant toenails. Um, but I really like this knife quite a bit. You've got like a long pull match strike nail neck. I'm not crazy about the match strike thing that Rough Rider seems to do for a lot of their knives. Um, but these elephant toenails or sunfish knives and stuff, these big sleeve board knives are kind of cool, and it's kind of a cool part of pocket knife history and everything, because basically this thing was designed to like cut rope. Like you put it down like this and you whack it with like a mallet or something to cut thick rope, and that's pretty much what these knives were designed to do. um, so they're just kind of a cool pattern. This one's not anywhere near as big as my Winchester Sunfish that I have. In fact, it's almost an inch smaller. It's about half an inch smaller, maybe. I don't know. It's quite a bit smaller than the Winchester one. The Winchester one's kind of unwieldy to carry in my pocket. This one's not too bad to carry in my pocket. And like I said, I like it quite a bit. It's put together probably the best out of all the Rough Riders I've ever gotten, with the exception of the Rough Rider Reserve Razor Jack or whatever it was called that I got. I like that knife a lot too, but that's not a Rough Rider. That's a completely different thing made in a different factory, and it's a lot more expensive. That's Rough Rider's premium brand, or Smoky Mountain Knife Works Rough Rider premium brand, however you want to say that. This is not that. Like I said, this knife is under $20, and I'm kind of half tempted to order another one just to have a another one of these. Um, but the problem is, I'm not sure I want to roll the dice and see if I get a bad one, because I'd kind of like to have a second one to either give away as like a gift to a friend, or just have a second one as like a backup to this one if I would use the crap out of this one or lose it or something. But I don't know if I want to do that yet or not. Like I said, the good thing is they're so cheap that if I decide I want to do that, it's not a huge deal because they're fairly inexpensive. Um, anyway, I think I made a good choice by buying this knife. At least the particular one that I got's made really well. Um, they recently released that Rough Rider Rhino toe, I think it was. that had a main Warncliffe blade. I wasn't crazy about that. When they first announced it, I was totally into it. But then the more I thought about it, it's like I don't really want one of these big, like sleeve board pattern knives with a small little Warncliffe main blade. Because to me, like these should have a big fat spear blade. Or Rough Ryder did another one, and I do have that knife, and maybe I should have pulled it out. That had like a big like sheep's foot. It was kind of like a combination between a sheep's foot and a spear blade, and that was fine too, as far as I'm concerned. Um, but overall, I mean, I think that these big like sleeve board knives, the elephant toes, and the sunfishes should have some sort of fat spear blade. That is just my opinion, though. If you like the Rhino toe, good for you. I think it was like $70, 60 or $70, and this was less than 20. So I think I made a good decision by buying this instead of the Rhino toe. That is just my opinion, though. But anyway, I feel like I've gone on for way too long talking about random nonsense that doesn't really have anything to do with this knife. Um, so I think that'll be it for this video. And I hope you guys have a good day.